You're watching American Wire. This resurfaced video of Joe Biden from 1988 shows a reporter confronting Joe about his awful law school record. Watch how Joe responds.
What law school did you attend, and where did you place in that class? And the other question is, could you quickly, I think
I probably have a much higher IQ than you do, I suspect. I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. In the first year in law school, I decided I didn't want to be in law school and ended up in the bottom two-thirds of my class, and then decided I wanted to stay, went back to law school, and in fact ended up in the top half of my class. I won the international moot court competition. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only need 123 credits, and I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
If I could say one thing, I think just in my own opinion, I'm not questioning your IQ at all. I'm just saying that with the people that we have elected to office in recent years, I think that we have to question their credentials very solidly.
Well, I think you're right, Frank. But you know what I find kind of interesting? It seems to me if you can speak, you're at a liability in the Democratic Party anymore. It seems to me you've all become heartless technocrats. It seems to me that you forget that what happens is we have never as a party moved this nation by 14-point position papers and 9-point programs. It seems to me that when we got involved in the civil rights movement, Frank, nobody asked Martin Luther King what his legislative agenda was. He marched to change attitudes. When the women's movement started, it did not move with a constitutional amendment. They marched to change attitudes. And this party better understand full well that it's about time we change our attitude and we begin to change the attitudes of Americans about what their responsibilities are to the poor, about what their responsibilities are to other people, and about what our responsibility in the world is. And that requires changing attitudes. But Frank, I promise you, you'll see my 15-point plans and 19-point position papers, and you'll be able to make a judgment when Gary Hart and I stand there. Who knows more about foreign policy, Gary or me? And when you see that Dick Gebhardt and I stand there, you'll be able to make a judgment whether Dick Gebhardt or I know more about economic policy. But ultimately, Frank, this country needs a leader, and leaders change attitudes about people. And it's the ironic twist that in the wake of Ronald Reagan, that the only one thing he knew how to do was the one thing that is now being the currency of which is in fact being devalued so much. But anyway.
Wow, seeing Joe back then to how he is now is like, it's completely different. Joe in this older video trying to defend his law school record is very, you can tell like he's very on his toes. He's responsive. He has a wealth of things to say, and he's very good at the political talk, right? The way that politicians talk to really just kind of like grace over the truth and making it sound like they're better than they are. I mean, you could see back then he was really good at it, and he didn't look angry, right? He didn't look like a little old angry man when he was talking. He was responding, and as he responded, all I could like see is how he was making people laugh at times, making people, listen, and it blows my mind that people can't see how Joe is today compared to what he was years ago, that the Joe today is who they want to run this country. I mean, back then he had spark, he had wisdom, and he could talk the game, right? Whether it's good or bad, I mean, he could talk the game. It's like night and day. But the Joe today just falls asleep at the podium. That was interesting to watch.